You know, it's funny because the dynamic, your brother could not be less like you. It's so fantastic how different you guys are. And I've got to know him a little bit. And you've described yourself as a dyslexic extrovert and Rich as an OCD introvert.
Yeah.
And I thought when I read that description...
I mean, I said that in a therapy session and it got out.
Yeah. I was the therapist.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I just came in for the meds and now all of this.
But it's fascinating that it works so well. And then at other times, you guys would have to say, that's it, can't do this anymore for a long period of time.
Yeah. And for... Again, like anything in life, I mean, I envy the bands that every band, every business, every partnership, everything has its ebb and flow and good and bad. I love the people that kept their shit private. We were just not going to be that way. We were, you know, to us, our connection with music and everything is an emotional connection. It's a feeling. We didn't learn music. Rich and I don't know any music. If you put it in front of us, I don't know what key I'm singing. You know what I mean? Like it is something that we've developed. And I mean, yes, of course, we know a little bit of music 35 years later, but it's really just by a visceral sort of connection to what it is. In the same way, that's how we write. You know, Rich will play me it could be the littlest thing. It could be, I don't know, a rhythmic thing, a seventh note. I don't know. It could be whatever it is dictates. That's where I start. That's where I come in. This song is... whatever the theme is going to be comes from something that She Talks to Angels is a great example. We were still living at Mom and Dad's house, and he just played that little thing, and he just started mucking around with Open E. And that song is funny because it was very easy to write a scene or a story about. I knew someone that looked a certain way who I, at the time, had heard was into heroin, right? Or you know, hard drugs. But I don't know. They never had a child or lost a child. You know what I mean? Like, I just fill in the blanks of the story I want to tell. But I'm not even beginning to tell that story without just whatever that little thing is Rich plays me. Because I've written many songs by myself, written songs with other people, and it's different. You know what I mean? That's what he and I do. So between our OCD and dyslexia, we make one functioning songwriter, I think. You know, we're one Billy Joel.
So
Billy Joel who doesn't shower.
I'm picturing when little kids, when one gets on the other's shoulder and they put on a big trench coat and try to go to the movie theater as an adult, and the hand comes out of the crotch to pay for it.
But instead, they play piano.
By the way, what's the Billy Joel song where he goes, what's the one where he breaks into like a vampire voice? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know that one.
God, it's so funny.
Long Island Vampire?
No, it's one of his big hits. Yeah, the Long Island Vampire.
Big shot.
That's
one. Big shot. No, because I was
a big shot.
Yes.
Didn't
That's so fucking crazy.
I was like, what is he?
That's so crazy. I started to scan my brain and I just said, Billy Joel Vampire, and I went to him at the guitar going, you think that you're a big shot, didn't ya? You know,
like Count Chocula.
Yeah, Count Chocula. Well, you're not coming to my castle. That's
someone
fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's like, someone talk to the bass player because I'm in the key of E flat. What?
After every concert, his band mysteriously disappears.
Will you get him on just to ask him what the fuck was that?
I would ask him about the other song where he's like, you know, JFK blown away. The one where he's just listing things that happened in history. That's the one I remembered that Billy Joel was on Saturday Night Live and he was performing that song. You know,
we didn't start the fire.
But then it's the whole list of like, you
Harry
know,
Truman, Doris Day, Red China, Johnny Ray, South Pacific, Walter Winchell, Joe DiMaggio.
Okay, well, you're fired. You have a now. Get
By
out.
the way, I have erectile dysfunction after that.
Yeah.
Really, I have a huge boner.
But anyway, I remembered watching, being back near the craft food service table where the double doors are in Saturday Night Live, where the food is, and I'm standing there, and he's singing that song, listing things, and Jim Downey's standing there, and he turned to me and he went, "He's just listing things." This is when it was like the #1 song in the country. But
true.
Jim Downey knew.
true.
He's just listing things.
Just reading the credits while they go down. It's like, oh, bring me my Encyclopedia Britannica. Which ones do you want? All of them, all of them.
Get them all. This is a long song.
A to Z. Sorry, I didn't know why he does the breaks into the vampire sound.
Well, you know.
It was the
moment,
70s.
He was feeling it. You think you're a big shot, ninja. You know what's fascinating to me is that I don't think people get all jumbled up about time later on, and it doesn't matter. But you have to understand that in 1990, nobody was dressing like you. There was a Seattle punk thing that was starting to happen, and then there was also hair metal, and then you guys, and I think you've called it's Mick Jagger circa like 1970.
Well, yeah, we really loved like the 72 Stones. Like that was like the way Keith kind of looked. The Stooges. But it's funny because I always remember, you know, it was hard to find clothes like that. And everyone had looked like Guns N' Roses. And we went to England for the first time, and they had a place called Kensington Market. It was fabulous, amazing place. Like crazy stalls and homemade wild clothes and all sorts of stuff. Punk things, goth things, whatever it could be. And I bought a pair of like maroon kind of bell bottoms. And we came back to the States, and we were on tour with Aerosmith, funny enough, our first tour bus. But we played a gig in Rochester, New York. There's a baseball stadium there. And it was Black Crowes, Warrant, Metallica, Aerosmith. We're on first. And I remember this. I come out of the thing, and I'm like wearing my bell bottom, you know, with the way we look. And people are like snickering at me. And I'm like, y'all motherfuckers laugh all you want. I look cool, you know? Like, I feel cool.
Yeah.
And we went up and did the gig, and people, like a lot of Metallica fans are like, you know, carving pentagrams of bleeding in their hands. Fuck yeah! Yeah!
Oh, I get that a lot.
You know, they were like, we were the worst thing they've ever seen, but we were still kind of street, you know, we're from Atlanta, and I get up there and I'm like, rubbing my butt and looking at them, like kissing them, and I'm like this, bring it up here, big boy, you know, I'm saying all this. They're fucking throwing tennis shoes and golf balls and shit at us. I'm like, who's bringing golf balls? Boing, boing. And so, but we did it. Like, who brought a pocket full of fucking golf balls to this gig? Security, you know. So we do the gig though, and we, you know, some people like it, I imagine. We're still here, but we didn't. We were like this, you know, fuck y'all. We're gonna do our fucking thing, and this, you can't stop us. That's part of this weird rock and roll thing.
Yep.
So we go backstage. We're like, whatever. We played 30 minutes or whatever. Warrant is going on next. And they come out of the trailer in these little matching like outfits. They look like the Osmond family, you know what I mean? Crazy horses, you know.
I remember that.
And they would like do their little dance, and they would have like little matching, like one's got blue shirt, one's got a white shirt, blue pants, white leg, you know, little outfits. And these guys are wearing like these little, you know, at the time, I guess they had never saw the Osmond family, but
right.
So the stadium, I don't know, there's 50,000 people in there. And you just hear, Warrant sucks, Warrant sucks.
Oh, Jesus.
And that whole place is ringing this out. Like, it's loud. And they look at each other, and they went back in their trailer, put on their, like, sweatpants and got on the bus, and they left.
No.
And I was like, I mean, I get it. They didn't even know we were the Black Crowes enough to say we sucked. We would have gone out anyway. We just would have. We were that.
Insert name here sucks.
Yeah. These people wanted Metallica. And Aerosmith, which is totally cool. Of course, but I was like, you know, I was like, you should, if you really believe in what you're doing, you weather the storm, get up there, give it to them. You don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you can't just fold. I mean, I'm not picking on them. I'm sure they're rad dudes. I don't hang out with them at the all-you-can-eat sushi place.